All right, man, we back. Oh man, I messed up on the picture. Give me 1 minute. But we back. Motor City Sports Talk in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video, um, uh, and let's talk a little bit about the Lions. And this is the episode 2 of the one-on-one podcast. I made a playlist for it as well, so check it out as I try to correct the thumbnail. It's gonna give me 1 second, but it's everybody roll in. I'll shout them out as soon as I pay attention. But 1 second. 1 second. Then we'll start off. I kind of want to start being more active with the live streams. That's a goal this year for the channel. Still working on the podcast. Still coming around. It'd be totally different vibe than the channel. So I want everybody to know that, man. 2K players, what's going on? 1 second. 1 second. I'll start off shortly. Michael, what's going on? But yeah, we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about Dan Orlovsky saying the Lions are two players away, or in a good draft away from being a contender. I beg to kind of disagree, but at the same time, I could agree to what he pretty much saying. And also, we're gonna talk a little bit about we're gonna talk about bringing back Devon Kennard and possibly bringing in Jadeveon Clowney. I think that's kind of that's a question that's going around about Clowney. Clowney said he wanted to go to a winning team though, but most people probably think he probably more motivated about the money. The Lions got money to spend, and also talk about bringing back Devon Kennard. I'm not a fan of Devon Kennard. I look at him as a backup, but the Lions love Devon Kennard, so that's what they love. But let's talk about Orlovsky. Basically saying the Lions have to smash the draft and they 2 or 3 really good players away. He pretty much said that Lions got jerked around this season. They got bad calls. They've been injured, but that's always been a narrative. With the Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? That's been a narrative for a long time. Oh, if this guy was healthy. Oh, if he would have stayed healthy, regardless of the results, no matter whatever it was, no matter if the defense was on par with the offense or the defense was healthy, the special teams was healthy, whatever it was, it always seems that, we come up short in those type of situations. So, for him saying that, I don't really look at it. The Lions got so many holes, and Matthew Stafford has masked a lot of those holes over the test of time with this Lions organization. I don't see exactly what he sees as far as when he says that we 1 or 2 players away. In my opinion, I mean, we a few players away. And that's just my humble opinion on the situation. I mean, you look at the offensive line, it's a situation where we might need a whole new offensive line. They may not bring Graham Glasgow. I could bet a pretty penny that Rick Wagner probably won't be back. You know what I'm saying? I could bet a pretty penny that, I don't think they want to go into next year with Kenny Wiggins and Joe Dow starting. They signed a guard from the San Francisco 49ers, but he had historically been injured. So, they got some guys in the developmental phases. I don't know if they feel if the kid from Oregon is ready. I forget his name. They drafted him in the 6th round a couple years ago. I don't know if they feel the Wisconsin guy is ready. They got some young talent there. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at the defensive side of the ball, and that's supposed to be Matt Patricia's strength. You got some holes on the defensive line. If you're not gonna bring Mike Daniels back, you're looking at Damon Harrison may retire. You're looking at a whole new defensive line. The linebackers, subjective. Some people like them. A lot of people don't like them. What you gonna do with Darius Slay? So it's a lot of different holes on the football team. It's a chance that Sam Martin may not come back. So you may need to look for a punter. A punter is critical, especially when you play in the field possession game. Fred, what's going on? Maurice Kennard has been our most consistent pass rusher the past 2 years. I won't dispute that, but I don't think that's hard to be. You don't need every position to be good. You just need you just need enough positions to be good. No, you don't need every position to be good, but what positions are good on the team is the question. That's the question. It's the first position you got to ask is the talent evaluator is good. You know, that's somebody. Sometimes people don't look at it that way. Do you trust Bob Quinn to find the talent? I mean, I think he been average. You know, he found Kenny Galladay. You know, he did. I don't even know what else he did good. You know, I don't know who else. I mean, I like Graham Glasgow to a certain extent. Did he draft Quadre, or was that Martin Mayhew that drafted Quadre Diggs? I think it was Martin Mayhew. So, I mean, he has some okay picks. I think Amani Arakwe is going to be one of his better picks. I like Tavai. He'll be one of his better picks, but you don't. But you do. People look at it like, oh, the Lions, if this didn't happen in Green Bay, or if Matthew Stafford didn't get injured, they lack. If anything, this year showed us they lack depth. You know, and that's a sign of a good football team when you can rotate guys in and not miss a beat. They lack depth. And that's not a Bob Quinn problem. That was a problem that the Lions have had, you know, for, you know, over 20 years. They lack depth. And for a successful football team, it's a dominant offensive line, a good run game, and also then you need to stop the run and get after the passer. That's the formula. So, you know, I just don't see them being two or three really good players away. But you never know. If you can find a Barry Sanders or a Calvin Johnson, or you can find a Deion Sanders, you can find that superior pass rusher, then that does clear up things. You know, if you can find you a Chase Young could be everything that Khalil Mack is or Von Miller is, that instantly upgrades your front seven. That gives Trey Flowers more one-on-ones. That give Deshaun Hands one-on-ones on the inside. You know, that make people have to keep a blocker in, a chip. And that's going to elevate your whole team. If Chase Young is all that in the bag of chips, you know what I'm saying, that's going to elevate the entire football team, you know, as well. So, yeah, if you can get two or three of them, then you win the game. But the Lions' biggest problem, and they have yet to fix this problem, they have had really good pass rushers. They have had really good run stoppers. They got an adequate secondary. But the one problem that the Lions have is they haven't been able to run the ball. And when you don't, Mike Wallace, what's going on? When you're not able to run the ball, that affects the whole team. You know what I'm saying? When you got a lead and you need to, you know, chew the clock up. If you can't run the ball, you going 3 and out throwing the ball. Let the team come back. If you ain't running the ball good, you get to the red zone. Matthew Stafford got to make small window throws. So I think if I'm prioritizing what the Lions need to do to beat 2 or 3 good players away, it's probably going to be getting a run game together. I think it's probably getting a run game together. You know, not the quarterback position, not the receiver position. They need a real Barry Sanders type of running back. Emmett, Walter, LaDainian Tomlinson. They need that superhuman type of player at that position. And if they can get that guy at that position, and they can get a Chase Young, and they can add a really good running back, I think that may change things. You know what I'm saying? A good running back, he don't need perfect blocking. He can make somebody miss. You know what I'm saying? Barry didn't have the greatest blockers, but he had a lot of talent. So I do think if those two of those 3 great players they need to add, I think then one need to be in the backfield and one need to be rushing the quarterback on the other side of the ball. And I think then from there, you know what I'm saying, you look and you probably want to plug another guy, you can plug him anywhere. You get a star linebacker like a Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, NaVorro Bowman in the middle, and you like it there. If you get you a star receiver, Calvin Johnson, AJ, you like it there. So, you know, like I said before, Dan Orlovsky, I don't 100% disagree with him, but if you can add generational talent like a Chase Young and a generational talent at running back, that does change the outlook for the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Lions. Like somebody else said, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect everywhere. You know, you have to have a good supporting cast around your weak links on your team, but it's not too far-fetched. You know, you never know. You know, a quarterback, you know, drop and get injured, or somebody retire, or a team suffer injuries like we suffered last year. The Lions could be up there. The Lions are projected to win 6.5 games this year. You know what I'm saying? That's towards the bottom of the league, but how many games did they predict Buffalo will win this year is the question. You know what I'm saying? Who really predicted the 49ers turn it around like they did this year? They was one of my sleeper teams, but I didn't see them going all the way to the Super Bowl. So anything can happen, especially with a good draft and the right free agent pickups. Yes, the Lions can turn it around. But to turn it around, you got to have a guy that can identify talent, scouts that can scout the talent, identify the talent, make the right picks. Risk has to be taken, and the Lions haven't took those risks in the draft. They've been very, very conservative, really, really safe in the draft. They haven't really moved up to get anybody. They let guys fall to them, or they fall back to take the conservative pick. They take the nice guys. They don't want the guys with any questionable backgrounds, and they don't trust their culture to really support those guys with the questionable background. And by them taking all Saints and not taking no questionable characters, that make it really, really hard. But I understand in the NFL, Roger Goodell is laying down the gauntlet and how Detroit is going to be perceived to the rest of the league. I get it, but you got to have some goons on your team. You know what I'm saying? But I don't disagree with Orlovsky to a certain extent. I feel that they're in the full rebuild mode. You know what I'm saying? Contrary to what everybody believing, that's just my opinion. That's my humble opinion. Mason says I will want Kaepernick because sure we need to get the NFL mad at us. The officials is already going crazy on us. Kaepernick is done. We need a good running game this year. That's the one thing the Lions haven't had over the last since Barry retired. In that 1 year with Reggie and Joyke and the 1 year with James Stewart, we haven't had a significant impactful run game. We need that. We need a really good run game that can really take some pressure off Stafford, where he can hand the ball off or he can dump it off. They need a LaDainian Tomlinson type running back. A guy that can do it all and take the pressure off of Stafford. That's impactful. That can take it to the house and, that people got to account for. But that's one place they didn't have. So, like I said before, it's real iffy because you can say, oh, they 2 or 3 impactful players away and a good draft away. She could say that about any franchise. You can say, oh, we could add a Walter Payton or a Gale Sayers or Barry Sanders, and we could add a Lawrence Taylor. I mean, shit, when you got a functional quarterback, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? These guys got to stay healthy. They got to produce. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta get guys to want to come to Detroit. And the narrative and the perception about Detroit is nobody want to do it the Patriot way. See, going to New England and doing it the Patriot way is different because you're winning. But New England don't go out there and get a lot of high-profile guys. They got Revis, they got Talib, they got Gilmore, but they don't go out and spend a lot of money. It's a system. They take refurbished players and they plug them into their system and they make it work. You know what I'm saying? They let Richard Seymour go. They let Chandler Jones go. Willie McGinnis finished somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Revis was gone. Randy Moss, they used him and left him. Tom Brady, the only one that's still there, and low key, they trying to push him out the door. They trying to recreate the perfect storm. Which, if it was that easy, why didn't Romeo Cornell do it, or Charlie Weiss do it, or what's the Josh McDaniels do it? Why ain't Bill O'Brien doing it with Houston? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, and everybody can just do it the Patriot way, why did every assistant coach fail? That's the question. That's the question. So Matt Patricia, he need to do it his way, and then everything you hear about him is, why would I come to Detroit to play for a guy that's really trying to butt break the team? That get team that rip players in front of the whole team. A guy that's purposely late to meetings. I mean, I didn't get why the Detroit media was treating Matt Patricia the way they did by pulling up his history that nobody in the Detroit Lions organization knew about. I didn't get why the media didn't accept Patricia, because they didn't do it to Caldwell, so it wasn't a race thing. They didn't do it to Rod Marinelli. Didn't do it to Wayne Fox. And I know we're in the social media era now. They didn't do that to them. But the way they came at Matt Patricia, it wasn't even a honeymoon phase. It was straight, like, go for his neck. And everything that the media portrayed him to be, everything you hear behind closed doors, Akeem Vallis, you hear other Lion players and other people say, like, he really is an asshole. I mean, he's beyond an asshole. You know what I'm saying? He's beyond an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So who want to play in this organization, like this, where you can't show personality and, you can't have an opinion and your coach don't listen to you where, oh, I think we should shade in a little bit, or I think we should go one high in the robber, where it's my way or the highway, exactly my way or the highway. And he's trying to be Bill Belichick, and he can't be Bill Belichick. So who is they going to get to come here? Then you have to really smash the draft. And you got to find you a Glover Quinn type of free agent, a Golden Tate type of free agent. I just think the perception of Detroit and living in Detroit, and it hampers people coming here. But once players come here, players tend to want to stay here. They tend to love it in the Metro Detroit area. I keep saying that. You don't hear people complain about living here and playing here. You don't really hear it. The fans give you love. You got everything you need. You're close to amusement parks. You close to Canada. You close to Chicago. You ain't far from New York and Philly. It's a great place to be when you got money. But when you add the Grinch who stole Christmas and Matt Patricia, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think players will want to come here. So you look at some of the top free agents. Would Jadeveon Clowney want to come here and be unhappy? Gary Motor was here for temporary. He went 8-8 and they got rid of him. I never understood that. Gary Motor was a Michigan guy, right? Michigan coach, and he was a good coach. I remember that season, and they got rid of him for no fucking reason. I'll never forget that. Gary Motor was the guy they should have kept. He knew what the hell he was doing. Don't know what the hell he did after that, but hey, let's get another coach. Well, that's not that easy then, getting another coach. You know what I'm saying? Because Martha don't want to pay them, and she don't know where to find another coach at. That's the problem. That's the true problem. It's because the NFL helped her with this job search, and they matched us with Bob Quinn. Eventually, he got his guy Matt Patricia in there, right? Then if Martha Martha needs an Ed Stefanowski. That's what they need. Martha needs an Ed Stefan. She needs a football advisor. She needs somebody that don't want to be a GM, but can help her make, and don't want to be there full time, but can help her make football decisions. Barry, you want to pay Calvin Johnson, and that's how he can recoup his money. You want to go, you got to spend some money now. Bill Coward, Tony Dungy. You know what I'm saying? She needs a football guy, an advisor. She needs an advisor that can help her find the right guy to turn it around. Jimmy Johnson, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like that. She needs somebody next to her, but she don't know what she's doing. She don't. And, for her to say, oh, I should get another coach. Why would she get another coach when she's selling out every football game? When concessions is good, money is good. Why is she in a rush to put a winner on the field? She not. They not cool with the media. Okay? They beef with the local media. And every time you hear something happen, if right now, the Lions announced they fired Matt Patricia, I guarantee you're going to hear from ESPN, Adam Schefter, Ed Warner. You're going to hear from somebody. You're not going to hear it from Pat Caputo, or you're not going to hear it from Dave Burkett, even though he worked for, they're not going to hear from them. Carlos. You're going to hear that from somebody on the outside. For the new coach of the Detroit Lions, I'd rather be in the management. I'd rather just pick the talent. We'll tell her to give the Lions to Detroit like Green Bay, but she would never. She making too much money. It's too much money being raked in. 2 years ago, they got a check for $250 million before football was snapped. TV money. Even if people stop coming to the football games, like Jacksonville, she still got a $250 million check before football. That was TV money. So it's probably the same this year. It's probably gonna be the same next year. So she got $250 million of TV money. So every football team, 30-something football team got $250 million. You know how much that money that is going around? So why is she in a rush to throw a winner on the field? People could stop going to the game, stop buying apparel, boycott, and maybe it hit home. But there's no reason for her to sell the team. She not committed to putting a winner on the field. She committed to putting money in her pocket. And that's what people got to understand. She don't want a winner. She want to just, why go out and spend money on players and spend money on management and putting the right guys, regardless for the last 20-something years I've been losing and I'm still making profit. Yeah, 78 kicks, exactly. She don't care as long as them checks keep coming. You talking about $250 million before football is snapped. And you think she trying to really bust a move? No, she don't want to pay Bob Quinn and pay another general manager, pay Matt Patricia and another coach, and then she got to pay another coaching staff. No, hell no, she ain't about to spend that money. Billionaires become billionaires by being frugal. Rich people become rich people by being frugal. You know what I'm saying? Wealthy people, excuse me. Rich people become wealthy people by being selective on what they buy. They don't buy the jewelry. They don't buy the Jordans all the time. They selective on what they purchase. They get the things that matter. Reliable car. A nice house. You know what I'm saying? A couple nice suits. They get the money. But you got to ask yourself, what else can she freaking buy at 100 years old? What is she still spending money for? How many of these business suits can she buy is the question, but, it's business. You hear the Chase Billingsley, the old receiver, Kobe 2K fan, what's going on? He talks about how, Rod Wood was basically terrible and, him and Bob Quinn treated people the wrong way. It's just not a good run organization. And, we talking about being 2 or 3 players away. I'm going to put it to you this way. They got a better chance of putting a vote up, each round and having us vote on who we should draft. We are the fans have pick a better player than Bob Quinn could. Bob Quinn he's one of those dudes that think he's the smartest guy in the room. He overthinks, he overanalyzes instead of just making an easy play, coming off the pick and roll, easy bounce pass, easy layup. Bob Quinn is a dude that gotta hold the ball for a minute and fake a shot and throw it behind his back, and he want to be the smartest dude in the room. And she just hired some idiots, bro. I promise you, bro. I can do a better job than Bob Quinn. All day. Truth be told, all day. I can run this organization better than Bob Quinn. Just give me somebody that can manage the cap. You know what I'm saying? I'll find a better coach. You know what I'm saying? But then again, some of these things may be above Bob Quinn. You know what I'm saying? It may be. But you're only as good as your ownership, and you know what the line. If the NBA, put it to you this way, if the NBA don't care if the Knicks suck and they haven't made James Dolan sell the team, why would the NFL care about the Lions and us doing well? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. He said she need that money to buy them sunglasses to marry. You ain't lying. So, it's unfortunate, bro. But the chances of us getting those 2 or 3 players via free agency, via trade, or via the draft is slim to none. It's a rumor going out there that the Chicago Bears may trade Khalil Mack for the number 2 pick. And I would guess they will be moving up for a quarterback, and that's probably be Tua Tagovailoa. And thinking about it, I'm not pretty much sold on Tua. Very injury prone, a lot of ankle injuries, hip injuries. I do think the NFL game is a lot more protective than the college football game. It's probably more rougher in the SEC with all the new rules to protect the quarterback. But if Chicago do jump up, I mean, what does Khalil Mack get a Washington Redskins? You know what I'm saying? I know Ron Rivera gonna put in a great defense, but I just don't see that being an impactful move that's gonna turn it around for them. The quarterback position is what's gonna turn it around for the Redskins, but Rivera's a good coach. If he get Khalil Mack, then I would guess that the Bears would probably take a quarterback. If they bring in Cam, or if they trust Trubisky, then I would imagine that they probably take Chase Young. So like I said before, if that happens, then I would think you trade up that high, you trade up for a quarterback. And the Lions, maybe sitting, right there to take Chase Young. And if Chase Young is everything, a lot of you guys, Frederick, salute. If Chase Young is one of those guys that you guys say he is, and I gotta do more film work. Oh my God, Lions Talk. You can check his channel out. He sent me some film the other day of him. I gotta check it out. But if he everything you say he is, y'all say he is, then if you can plug Chase Young there, Deshaun Hand, and you put Trey Young on that line, and they can find a plugger. And when people don't understand, when I say a plugger, a Nada, a Damon Harrison, see, it's difference. See, you can get guys that can rush the passer and stop the run. It depends what they looking for. If you can get a guy that can do both, like a Reggie White, Warren Sapp, good. That's why Derrick Brown is important. You know what I'm saying? If you can get a guy that can stop the run and rush the passer, then he can play in any situation. See, it's situational football. Explain this to you. You got guys that's good on third down. You got guys that's good on first down, second down. Some situations, you have to. All right, if it's a third down and it's 3rd and 1, and they gonna run it. Well, you leave Damon Harrison in, and you put your big boy package in and stop the run. If it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and they gonna throw the ball 3rd and long, then you take Harrison out and you put a pass rusher in. So, what's so good about getting a guy that can stop the run and rush the passer, like in Dominican Sue? He had a little problem stopping the run, but it was more philosophy than him. They would play the run on the way to the pass. But if you can find a defensive tackle that can do both, then you know what I'm saying. I mean, that make you that much more deadlier. So, like I said, if you put Chase Young with Trey Flowers, excuse me. But shout out to Trey Young, I like his game. You put him with Trey Flowers and Deshaun Hand, and you can find another defensive tackle that can run. With him. I would think that would instantly upgrade your football team. But like I said before, man, I don't know exactly why Chicago was shopping Khalil Mack. But if they do jump up and take a quarterback, the Lions will have a great opportunity to move back. And somebody will love Chase Young. Somebody will probably give him a king ransom. It all depends on how you rate players in the draft. The number 3 pick is going to be the hottest pick in the draft. Because if people want Chase Young or Justin Herbert or somebody else rise, the Lions could probably move back and get a king's ransom for one of those players, man. And if they do move back or you rate Chase Young highly, you plug him in and you hope he go. If you move back and you can get a first round pick this year, a first round next year, a second this year, and a 4th or 5th this year, you take that deal and you run off with it and you build your football team. So the Lions is going to be in a very, very. The Lions are going to be a very, very great position, but the problem is when you go back to what Orlovsky said, they're 2 or 3 good players away. I'm not concerned about the 2 or 3 good players away. I'm concerned about Bob Quinn and his selection process of those players. I love Isaiah Simmons at 3. But does he fit what the Lions do? The Lions like thick, strong linebackers, thick, strong defensive linemen. They don't believe in drafting guys that's agile with speed. So Isaiah Simmons is a converted safety, a linebacker from safety. I know another guy that was converted from safety to linebacker, and he had a very, very fruitful career in Chicago, and he's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame named Brian Urlacher. But the problem is with that is that he doesn't fit their philosophy. Unfortunately, they want linebackers like Tabai. They don't want those linky, long linebackers. They want a big, strong, physical defense. And I just hate that philosophy for today's football. I hate that philosophy because now you have the integration of the mobile quarterback, and that's not black or just black. You got guys like Tannehill can run. You guys like Rodgers can run. That's the norm. Everybody's going to be looking at the quarterback that could be mobile. Look at the first 3 quarterbacks that'll be picked this year. Burrows, he mobile. Tua, he mobile. Justin Herbert, he mobile. Those 3 quarterbacks probably going to go first. All those dudes are mobile. And when you say you got to account for the 11th man on the field, the quarterback, You can't have slow guys up front. This game is now is about speed more than ever now. Because now you don't really have the football teams that's like the 49ers that run it down your throat and just run it down your throat no more. These dudes like to get cute and fancy and run the shotgun sweep, and they like to run tosses, and you need speed. Simmons is very, very ideal to today's NFL. A guy that can cover, a guy that can rush the passer. He's exactly what you ordered. He can be that hybrid Kennard, but they like these big, slow linebackers. I actually hated the hire of Matt Patricia. It was like the dumbest thing ever. And one of the reasons, if you go back and listen to some of those videos I did, I really didn't like that hire, was for the simple fact that the Detroit Lions defense was solid under Terrell Austin. I felt that the Lions' issues were offensively, and I felt they should have got an offensive head coach. Somebody that can fix the running game. And had they fixed the running game and let Austin continue to call the defense, and it would have helped to bring back a Dominic Sue, the Lions would probably have won a playoff game by now. It wasn't nothing wrong with that defense. They just let some talent get away. That's it. Terrell Austin's philosophy, and I don't care what nobody say, Terrell Austin's philosophy was 1,000 times better than Matt Patricia plays like a Madden player that played prevent all day. He dropped his lineman in the coverage, and he pass rush, and not pass rush, but he pass commit and stuff of that nature. His philosophy suck. He said the last time the Lions won the championship, my mom was 8 years old. Woo. Mommy could trade up to number 2 and leaving Chase open to. They talking about Chicago could trade up to number 2. They might trade Khalil Mack. That's going around. Check that out, Andrew. Temptations were in high school the last time they were relevant. The thing the Lions is they never treat their star players as they are, let alone value assets. No, they treat everybody like military style. Everybody get treated the same way, and I agree. I don't like that as well. You need preferential treatment, But like I said before, it's I just don't trust the brain trust from the top to the middle and the scouting and the bioquin and the coaching. You know what I'm saying? Matt Patricia had a really good game plan for the Los Angeles Rams 2 years ago. He had to seem to have a good game plan for the Kansas City Chiefs. But other than that, when our back ain't against the wall and we expected to win games to compete, his defense fall apart. Coleman was one of the worst at one point in the season. Late in the season, he was the worst defender in coverage in the NFL. You paid him all that money. What happened? Trey Flowers. He was solid this year. But to be honest, he cost us the Green Bay game with his bullshit ass, pass rush move, even though it wasn't illegal. But he's going to be remembered for that than any other thing he did this season. I didn't really see nobody that was dominant. Yeah, he came on late. But I didn't see nobody that was dominating the game. I didn't see that. But he's solid. He not worth the money they got him for. And a lot of things fell apart when Deshaun Hand got injured. When he couldn't come and compete, that was the biggest blow to this team outside of Matthew Stafford going down. Because they was counting on him to do what he did last year, but take a jump. And had he took that jump, then, the defense may have been a little bit different. But I don't trust him to find those 2 or 3 players. I don't trust him to draft Will to complete the process. A lot of people trust Bob Quinn and his football. I don't. A lot of people like Matt Patricia around the league. Former Patriot. I don't see it. Football is more than just X's and O's. His game management hasn't improved. His defensive philosophy sucks. And him as a person, he just sounds like the worst type of person. When you hear all these people talk bad about him, and you hear Glover Quinn talk about him, and you don't hear really no Lions players coming to his defense. You don't hear people saying, "Oh, Matt Patricia is a great coach." I dispute these rumors about him chewing us out in front of everybody else. Oh, we love doing conditioning after practice. This is how you build beast. You don't hear nobody taking up for Matt Patricia. I don't even think they practice outside this year. Remember he had them practicing outside and they was playing dome games last year, 2 seasons ago. So I don't see nobody, even Matthew Stafford. Y'all like Matt Patricia. He's a good guy. They not taking up for this guy. They don't like this guy. And word travels. Players hear agents. You know what I'm saying? Players talk to agents. Agents talk to other players. Players talk to other players. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to come here and play. People would love to play for Jim Caldwell. But once again, it was still questions about when Caldwell was here because how the ownership treated players. They treat this team like it's a car factory, and it's not. You can't do that. Every car may be made the same, but every player can't be treated the same. You can't just move a Calvin Johnson down the line and put tires on them and put the chassis line, put the lines in and drop the motor in and push them off the line. That ain't how the game goes. That's just not how it goes. Every player is unique. Every player should be treated different. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, especially when they have special players in. That is what it is. Let's talk about Jadeveon and Clowney, all right? At the end of the day, with his injury history, I just think at number 3, I would take my chances with Simmons, whatever you call the name, out of Clemson. I would take my chances with Chase Young. Jadeveon Clowney is a good player. Him and Trey Flowers would be nice on the edges and head on the inside. But, if you look at the free agent list, my biggest concern with the Detroit Lions is going to be on the interior because they're in a position. They got the kid from Clemson coming back next year. He had a torn pectoral. But my problem is in the interior because I think you can plug in Simmons or you can plug in Chase Young and your outside pass rusher is going to be set. You just probably need another depth guy behind them. But other than that, you set. But you look, in the interior, you will hope that, Marcel Darius, maybe check him out if they don't pick up the club option. You know what I'm saying? Michael Brockers may be a guy that you can bring in. A little bit long in the tooth, but and Ndamukong Suh is another guy you could bring in. Derek Wolfe. They really in actuality, Derek Brown, there might be a strong case to move down and take Derek Brown. You know what I'm saying? Because then, you can find a pass rusher, in the free agent market. They Everson Griffin. Minnesota might pick up his option. Jadeveon Clowney. Trying to look who all out there. Robert Quinn and they may have a club op. They had a club option on Von Miller. I don't see him getting away scot free. So it talks about Kyle Vanoy coming back and playing a linebacker position. I don't even know if he want to come back, but they're in a position where they need some interior help and they need some rushers on the edge. He said go grab defensive tackle Jefferson from Seattle or DJ Reader. They need somebody. He said they could have grabbed Grady Jarrett. With those big fellas, they have so much mileage on their bodies. That's why Dante Poe looked like the man one year, and then he fell off. After the Kansas City really used him up. He said James Stewart versus Antoine Winfield. Hernia said Swartz ran Reggie Bush 9 straight times the first game. Would I go after Khalil Mack? Yeah, yeah. If all it took was a third pick, I would. But then again, like I said before, in my other video, can you still get that production out of can you get that production out of Chase Young? Chase Young cheaper, so maybe I wouldn't do it. If I believed in Chase Young or whoever else, maybe I'd do it. They need a solid linebacker. I do think they need a linebacker that plays on the side of a Tavai. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, Vanoy is that guy. And he fits the system. But it's all about value for cheap. So I probably wouldn't go after Mac if I'm gonna pick Chase Young. But with Jadeveon, depending on what his asking price is, but you fear paying a guy like that and him getting injured and or not, having the motor. There's been talks about him not, having a strong motor, but really it's set up perfectly to take him. It's set up perfectly to take him. Yeah, I seen what Colin Coward said. I'll speak on it in a second. It's set up perfectly to take a guy like Jadeveon and Clowney because, I mean, if you can draft Clowney, then you could take Brown. You know what I'm saying? Imagine going out there with Brown, Flowers, Hand, and Clowney. That's beast mode. You know what I'm saying? That's beast mode right there. Then you can remix it. You can say we take Clowney, Flowers, and there's gonna be some guys get cut as well too. You put Hand in the middle. You put Brown. You take Brown out. You say, we take Chase Young, and we just had Chase Young stand up and rush the passer. Or we take Isaiah Simmons. That's murder. That front seven gonna be a problem, especially if Tavai can really anchor the middle. I mean that front seven will be complete. That front seven will be complete. You go out there with Flowers, you would probably have to hope Harrison come back healthy. You probably have to give him the offseason off to get healthy. But that front seven is legit. That might be the best front seven the Lions ever threw out there. With you talking about, I can bring in Chase Young, Clowney, and Flowers, and Hand, and Harrison can go out there. That's nice. But the Lions never thought like that. The Lions try to half build stuff. They spend half the money on the D-line and say, forget the rest of the front seven. So it's the way they go. But, I'm not high on Clowney. But in the right situation, I think he'll be good. Because you can't double him with Flowers and Hand out there and you put Chase Young. I think it'll be nice. But, yeah, Colin Coward said, why would the Lions take a cornerback? That ain't no splash. The Lions are bad. They boring. They need to make a splash and take two attack of the warrior. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if the Lions not gonna carry two quarterbacks and they gonna trade Matthew Stafford, it's just counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? It is. Matthew Stafford I think got a cheaper out next year, but they just don't want to carry two quarterbacks like that on the roster. I think it's the perfect scenario for Tua. I also like Justin Herbert. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people not high on him. I like what he brings to the table: mobility, size, arm. A little bit problems with accuracy, I think. A year with Darrell Bevel, learning how to take snaps from under center. I think he'd be a really good quarterback in this league, and I've been wrong before. But I like him I like him a lot, man. But they never gonna let go of Matthew Stafford until he no longer can, play and he retires. So I don't think they're gonna get rid of Stafford at all. So Clowney is inconsistent and injury prone. Well, he's really not injury prone. That's a very, very misleading thing. If you look at the games played, he really not injury prone at all. You wouldn't get the quarterback Tua with the third pick. Yes, you would. You could get him unless somebody trade up. If not, shit, let him go. Because if Washington stay put, they're not taking another quarterback. They probably taking Chase Young if they looking at Jadeveon. They looking at Khalil Mack. But I don't think they should want Tua. I don't think so. I think there's value at quarterback later in the draft. I wouldn't take that at 3. He's injured. Yeah, that's why he was sitting behind Stafford for a year. Do you trust the Tua not get injured? I've watched so many Bama games because I live in the SEC. His ankle. He got a bad ankle. So, no, that's why I said I had to rethink that. No, I like Herbert to be more solid. I think Tua is a little bit hype. Bring back worse attitude. Every year out the door, football better than we put up right now. Now I've seen here since 1971. Just can't give up like my dad. D-Rich say that's true. Lions spend cheap in critical areas like the trenches. Yep. I like Frank Clark. Yeah, he signed an extension when he got to Kansas City. Yeah, he went to the University of Michigan. He got in a little trouble there too. I like Frank Clark. That's probably why he dropped in the draft. He's funny. You look at the talent Michigan put on the field with Jordan Lewis and Devin Bush and Frank Clark and the kid up there Rashad Gary in Green Bay. You say why can't Michigan win? I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But like I said before, man, they need to complete something. They need to complete an area of the football team. But you got Everson Griffin out there. You got Von Miller that could be out there. I think they'll pick up the club options on both of them. So pass rusher is somebody that's very, very critical. You need them to get to that quarterback. And like I said, man, if I had to pick you know, I would probably look into moving down and accumulating a lot of picks and fill out my football team. But if I'm forced to stay there and I don't get the right offer, right now it's three guys I'm looking at. It's the Brown guy out of Auburn, the Simmons guy out of Clemson, and I'm looking at Chase Young. Those are the three guys that I'm choosing from. You know what I'm saying? They all fit a need, and I'm picking one, and I'm just rolling with them. And right now, the glaring need is, outside rusher, interior rusher. And interior is probably the biggest need. So if I believe Brown is all that in the bag of chips, and I believe everything is equal, Simmons and Chase Young and Brown, I might have to go interior. But at that point, if I'm going interior, I might can move down and still get Brown and still, accumulate more picks. So that's the beautiful thing. If you grade Brown higher, most teams are gonna be looking at Chase Young and looking at, Justin Herbert, possibly Tua if nobody move up, and the guys gonna be looking at them. So it might be a scenario where you say, I like Brown, I might trade down, still get Brown, and accumulate picks. Don't forget about the offensive line. I think they need a left tackle or right tackle. Like now, those are the two critical positions. Critical. So if they can trade down, get Brown, and still, end up filling their team out in the offensive line and, filling out some pass. It's gonna, remember, the NFL is different from the NBA. NBA is probably really, 5 really well-known prospects, and throughout the draft, you're lucky to find another 8 guys that's going to make an all-star team or be solid in the league. In the NFL, round 1 through 7 and beyond to free agency, you can find really good talent. You really can. Name one franchise quarterback that suffered a severe ankle injury. He deleted it. Tua should be a late second-round pick due to injury. Too talented. And remember, he left-handed too. So things have to change around when he left-handed. You want your best pass blocker on his right instead of his left tackle. To be honest, every time I read that one. Michigan has the wrong Harbaugh. Exactly. I definitely agree. To be fair, he was sitting behind the best college O-line money can buy. Thanks, Nick Saban. Harbaugh's a terrible coach. I think D'Antonio would have brought a chip to Michigan if he was able to acquire that type of talent. Yeah, he's definitely better at player development and a better coach. Renardo Salute. Yeah, I've always said D'Antonio, if he wasn't such an old, stubborn old man, he would have just delegated his offense to a guy like Josh Gaddis. I think he probably, he would do good with that money and that pipeline that Michigan has. But yeah, I would probably stay away from Clowney unless I knew I was putting a super team out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm putting out, Simmons or Chase Young with Clowney on the edge. But yeah, they also talking about Devon Kennard contract up, and the Lions really like him. Me personally, I'm not a fan. I see Devon Kennard as a backup in this league. Somebody in the comment earlier said he the most consistent pass rusher. That's not saying much. I just don't like his athleticism. He got a lot of heart. He got a lot of intangible. He tough. But when I want somebody coming off that edge, I want them to fire off that edge and bend, and they're able to bring some type of electricity. He just slow to me. It's a lot of versatility in the Lions linebacker crew. All of them can play interior, from Christian Jones to Jared Davis to Tavai to Devon Kennard, and all of them can play outside. And I'm just not a fan of Devon Kennard. He play hard, he rush hard. He's just not athletic enough. I like athletic linebackers. The Lions should draft the O-line Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan. What round he projected in? But, like I said before, man, I wouldn't pay Kennard. They need to do better. But they paid Christian Jones, so they'll probably keep him. Yeah, they say they like their linebackers. I just do not agree. I do not agree with some of the players they like. I don't like Christian Jones. I think he a career backup. I don't like Devon Kennard. I think he a career backup. You know what I'm saying? Jared Davis is horrible. They more higher on their linebackers than I am. I just don't see it, man. That's probably one of the reasons why they run defense is so piss poor. But Kennard, he does provide some versatility. He able to rush the passer, drop in coverage, but I don't see star player there. But, you go through the Patriots, history, Brewski, Vrabel, it's really not a lot of stars that play the linebacker position. You know what I'm saying? They all just play their role. Van Noy, Chandler Jones was more of a rusher. Dante Hightower. It's just really no superstar there, man. It's just, be disciplined, play your position, play your gap, guard your assignment, and that's what's going on. The Lions are scared to spend money on top players. I want Trent Williams and Byron Jones, but I know the team isn't going to be aggressive all free agency. No, even if they get rid of Darius Slay, Byron Jones is asking for the same money Darius Slay asking for. So, Trent Williams is probably going to end up staying in Washington with a new regime there. He may end up staying, but he older. You need somebody young at the left tackle position. But I do like Byron Jones. But I do think Darius Slay is better than him. But it depends on what the numbers crunch down to. But yeah, they need a young left tackle, and they probably be a veteran at right tackle. I would prefer a veteran at right, but yeah, he said I just thought on Ruiz. I think he is a nice replacement for Graham Glasgow once he leaves Detroit. D. Rich, I don't know why either. Yep, because they don't want to play nobody. They could trade Slay for Von Miller. I doubt they're gonna do. They got to throw in some extra compensation in there. If for that to happen, you would and keep a first round pick. You have to trade down and accumulate picks. But then again, why trade for Von Miller when you can draft a Chase Young if you believe in him. You can draft a Simmons if you believe in him. Somebody younger and cheaper. That's the thing about it. If you can find somebody younger and cheaper, if you're gonna get a Von Miller, you might as well pay a Jadeveon Clowney. You know what I'm saying? You might as well pay him and then take Chase Young or Isaiah Simmons and be good. Be good. So that's why I get Detroit owners have built this more with less mentality. So delusional fans want to remake grit and grind teams while the owners say money is funny as hell. Yep, that's what it is. That's all she doing is saving money. She milking the city of Detroit. If the Lions fans had the same fans as the Pistons and the Tigers, and they seats was empty, Martha probably wouldn't keep this team. The Fords got the best gold mine going in Detroit, better than the salt mines and all that other stuff going on, the casinos. The Fords got the lick going on. The Fords got the biggest lick going on in the city of Detroit. And that lick is, the Detroit Lions, no matter how good or bad they is, consistently people go down there. And it ain't even the best stadium. I like Comerica better. I like Little Caesars Arena better. It's not even a stadium that's it's outdated already. It was built in 2003. You know what I'm saying? You go to Indianapolis, their stadium is dope. You go to MetLife, it's straight. They built this cheap ass stadium. Excuse my French for the kids listening. They built this cheap stadium just like they build this cheap team every year. That's it. They built this cheap stadium like they built this cheap team, man. It don't make no sense. They need a rule. They seriously need a rule in pro sports. If you don't win a playoff game in 20 years, you should have to sell your team. Let alone if you don't make the playoffs in 20 years, you should have to sell. There's no way that James Dolan should still be owning the Knicks and Martha should still be owning the Lions. Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. But about Devon Kennard, he can go. I'm not a fan. Unless he's going to be a backup. You know what I'm saying? But they love him, so expect him to be back. Detroit owners, okay, I read that one. The Lions are stuck in the Patriot way. Get bottom players and hope you get the lightning. Yeah, that's what it is. But the difference is Bill Belichick know how to get the best out of those players. That's why the NFL, whoever did the NFL job search for the Lions, that's why they matched Bob Quinn with Martha. Cheap organization with cheap organization. She just cheap. Like, how you all got all this money? She worth over $1 billion. And you still being cheap. You about to die. You know what I'm saying? What is you being cheap for? You can't take it with you? Can't take it with you. Any questions before we get off, man? Any questions? I'm going to try to do this at least once or twice a week, man. At least. Any more questions? I'm not stuck on any of these players because we aren't winning with them. I don't see why fans are so stuck on Slay and Stafford. We ain't winning with them. 7-player wavy. Yeah, they love some Drummond and Stafford. They love some Drummond and Stafford. They really do. They love them. Detroit love they sorry players. No doubt about it. I don't get it. Truly don't get it. Truly don't get it. So we go after quarterback in the draft. Yeah, at some point. I mean, I'll keep asking questions. At some point, yeah, I would like to see them go out the second round. If they see somebody they trade back, or they feel somebody at the third pick is good. At some point, they got to start, preparing for Stafford to not be here. Stafford been injured the last 2 years, but nobody want to act like he been injured. People act like Stafford gonna be around. And like I said before, people get mad when I said I ain't never seen nobody stick around 10, 11, 12 years and fail every last year and still retain their job. And I'll say this, man, if Stafford was black, he been put out of Detroit. I don't miss no words about that. But the Ford family still won't sell the team even after Mark. I heard different. I heard they don't want nothing to do with the team. I heard her kids don't want to do with the team, and they will sell it. And I could be wrong. Real name games. What's going on? Appreciate it. How your day going too? Pretty good. What's going on, Renard? Drummond was a poor man's Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard coming off the bench. We need the quarterback from Clemson. I mean, yeah, I would love to accumulate picks. Or it's funny to see if he played next year. I would love to gather picks to take Trevor Lawrence. I wouldn't mind trading back this year and taking the first next year, and getting more picks this year to trade for Trevor Lawrence. But Trevor Lawrence might pull a Sam Bradford and say, "I'm going back to school rather than going to Detroit." Ford family gets more money to sell the team after she dies. That's why she hasn't sold it. Yes, they probably will. I don't, man. As long as they get somebody committed to winning. I wouldn't even mind racist ass Mark Cuban buying the team at this point. Because Mark Cuban gonna put a winner out there. For sure. Mark Cuban gonna put a winner. He gonna be engaged. He gonna let the football people do their job. Dan Gilbert might. He don't know how to put a winner on the basketball court though. Jeff Bezos, I don't know what he know about football. I don't understand why Steve Ballmer don't buy him. He from Detroit. That'd be a great fit, Steve Ballmer in the Pistons. But he probably just want to stay out there in L.A. How would you feel if they drafted the right tackle from Bama at 3? I ain't drafting no right tackle at 3. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. Never take a right tackle that high. No way, Jose. That'd be stupid. You can move down and get him. I would not take no left. If he was a left tackle and he was, the truth, but not no right tackle, unless you draft in Tua or you got a left-handed quarterback. But then he still have to go on the left side. I think get rid of Stafford and get a quarterback that's more mobile. Well, you get rid of Stafford, that's all your money gone. They got about $50-some million in cap, and if you cut Stafford, that's a $30-some million cap hit. It's not smart to get rid of Stafford this year. Next year, Mark Cuban getting a white running back in the draft. Shit, as long as he like Christian McCaffrey, we ain't got no problem with it. He do like them white Euro basketball players, but he got two of them that can hoop. Luka Doncic, a bad boy. I like his game. But yeah, I would like to see a mobile quarterback. We need a whole offensive line and a new coach. That ain't happening with the new coach. That ain't happening. For real. Slow-mo, what's going on? Any more questions? He said, I'd rather the city of Detroit buy the Lions than Jeff Bezos. Yeah, Amazon a piece of work. Yep. Marvin Jones last year with us. Yeah, I probably would move him. I like him, but yeah, it's probably his last year. They need to get faster at the receiver. But people talking about, because Danny Amendola probably not coming back. Oh, get Emmanuel Sanders. No, why would I get older at receiver? They need to get faster. Uh, I think your Pistons should have drafted a point guard from Michigan State. Oh, talking about Cassius Winston? Yeah, I don't think he's an NBA player though, but maybe, maybe. You have a great night. I appreciate it, Fred. We need receivers that can get open. Just need. I mean, they got. I mean, Stafford really. There ain't a lot of separation. They need somebody that can run. Kansas City is the wave. You know what I'm saying? All their receivers can run. Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Robinson, and Tyreek Hill. You need a couple dudes that can create separation where Stafford can just throw a 5-yard hitch and they can, or a bubble screen they can go, or he can throw it deep and they can score a touchdown. You need those burners, man, and they don't got enough burners. Marvin Jones at this point in his career not gonna stretch the field and create that separation, and Danny Amendola and Emmanuel Sanders is old. So they need guys that's gonna make stretch the field out, you know, and that's what I'm telling you. That's what the way the NFL is going is with explosive players and explosive plays. So we need a receiver from TCU. I ain't checked them out. What about AJ Green? He old, injured, maybe just tired of being assistant. I think AJ need to go somewhere like wherever Tom Brady go, Patriots, Chargers, um, maybe even Dallas. What they may not bring back Cooper. You know what I'm saying? I think he need to go somewhere like that where he kind of can win. I mean, Green Bay would be a great fit for AJ Green. I think Green need to go to a winner. You know what I'm saying? Especially he can play on the other side of Devontae Adams. But I think Cincinnati beat down AJ Green, kind of like Detroit beat down the Calvin Johnson. But I like Green game. I don't think Green like old. I just think Cincinnati really made him older than what he is. We have that one dude that caught a lot of deep passes. Oh, Marvin Hall. I like him, but I don't think he like the answer. But maybe we all know the Lions can't afford to keep Stafford, Galladay, Davis, Kennard, and Decker. They can't do it all. Can't afford. Well, Decker is probably gonna be out. They gonna place him with a rookie, maybe as soon as this year. Kennard ain't shouldn't demand no money. Davis ain't that good. So only person they gotta pay is Galladay out of that. That's gonna get good money. Davis, Kennard, and Decker not gonna get no good money. What's going on, Detroit 1999? Any other questions? Questions. Jerry Davis will be gone next season. Yeah, I would agree. We need another running back. Agree. I like Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbs. Well, any more questions? Questions. Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl next year. Y'all said that last year. Do you think I should go out to Cleveland Mac? Nah. I think they could. It's cheaper. Nah, I think that's cheaper routes to go. Chase Young, Simmons, Derrick Brown. So that's just my opinion. But I heard they talking about trading Khalil Mack for the number 2 pick in the draft. So I don't know if you want to trade all those picks, whatever. I'm gonna out here late. Who taking that 3? I don't know. Brown, Young, or Simmons. A lot's gonna change when the combine comes. So that's not cemented. Antonio Brown, no, he's an idiot. Okuda, if Okuda runs a 4.5, do you still take? I never was taking him, but no, I'm not. No, I mean, you can't. I mean, they try to take Tease Tabor, and I was telling everybody you can't run no 4.6, 4.7 and play in this league. Just my opinion. If you had to choose between keeping your quarterback or keeping your star receiver, which one do you keep? You talking about for Detroit, or just in general, keep the quarterback? In Detroit, can't get rid of Stafford. His cap hit too high. You know, receivers are a dime a dozen. Yep, receivers are a dime a dozen. Receivers are a dime a dozen. Any more questions? Do you think Michigan will beat Ohio State this year? No. I wish. That'd be my favorite day of the year. That'd be like Christmas and birthday and winning the lotto all wrapped up. We might get Chase Young if this happens. Yeah. Will Bob Quinn overthink it, or he doesn't fit our system? So we took a tight end. If you take a defensive back, take Simmons because he can play deep. They got him as a linebacker. He was a converted safety to linebacker, so I think he's gonna be more of a joker, probably more of a linebacker. So I think he's more of a linebacker at this point. He ain't a safety no more. But I like him. But yeah, Chase Young might be a good fit. Chase Young, Flowers, Hand. Harrison might come back. If not, you find somebody else to plug him in there. So it might be all good in the hood. Might be all good in the hood. Any other questions? Antonio Brown, crazy. Stafford been to messed around and ended up killing Antonio Brown. He been hooked around and killed Antonio. Y'all talking about Stafford don't show enough passion. He been to pull a Bobby Knight choking Antonio Brown on the sideline. Like, damn. Have you went musky fishing at St. Clair? No, I have never. Never. Trey Stafford, no. Cap hit too high. Next year it'll be cheaper. You can take a developmental quarterback this year and prep him behind Stafford. I mean, Eason, Love. We have some other quarterbacks coming up, but I prefer a mobile quarterback to help the run game. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email. If you have a business question, inquiry, response to your video request, keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation, information description, Cash App, PayPal. Best way to donate is share the video. And my email and social media is always in the description. If you ever want to email me, DM me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and email. Email and Twitter is the two quickest ways. Video requests or whatever, I'll get back at you. Appreciate everybody that slid through. Appreciate it. We go. How about we go after T.Y. Hilton? I mean, he older. That's the problem with T.Y. Hilton. He's older. Oh, Morgan Trice, my bad. He older. You want to get younger, but that's just my opinion. But I'm out.